I was the most inspired from the beginning by the score itself, which is just incredible. And it has this innate playfulness in the music, in the libretto. It's, I think it's truly comic opera, which we get so rarely. So as we started looking at it, I think we felt really free to find what's the world we're going to set this piece in. It needs world building. It's a world of gods and nymphs, and there isn't, I wouldn't say there's a sort of obvious setting for it. We had to make our own world. And we ended up finding the world of reality television, which was a world I was completely unfamiliar with and have had the most fun taking a deep dive into these sort of, what I've been thinking of as guilty pleasures. Because Platée feels like it could absolutely be in that world of a guilty pleasure, which a thing you sort of can't look away from, and you're in on the joke, and then at the end you feel just a little bit icky about it. So we have had the most fun with visual reference, particularly of the sort of colorful, playful, artificial world of television. The character of Platée is something very special in this piece. It's written to be sung by a man, and indeed is being sung by a man, the amazing Sam Bowden. And it's written for a very high tenor. It's called a haute contre, which is a sort of a very specific voice type of that time. The requirements of it vocally are very specific, and we are finding, I think, really a wonderful way to portray this character, which feels absolutely authentic and real. We're not playing drag, and we're not playing camp. I want to find the Platée who feels like somebody real. And I think, of course, originally the idea of a marsh nymph was already somebody other. And it feels to me that the reason she's played by a man is a way of othering in some way, in a way of setting her apart. But we're very interested in finding, what this contemporary woman is and who she is with Sam. Platée has an exuberance in the music that is so exciting and so compelling. It has, I don't know, the structure of it is really interesting because it's a form that wasn't familiar to me, and also it's Rameau playing with form even as he was writing it. So it feels like it doesn't have a predictability, I don't think, about exactly what's coming next, even in its form. And so, yeah, the playfulness and the exuberance and the just delightful quality of the music is really, I don't know, it carries you along, I think. And that's all even without talking about the story, which is also incredibly compelling and incredibly interesting and, dare I say, fun. I think it's a fun night at the opera without being so frothy that there's no substance. So the story of Platée is a classical story of Jupiter, with the help of his friends, curing his wife Juno of her jealousy. She's jealous of him and his philandering. And in order to bring her back to him, they stage a prank, essentially, which is to find the most unlikely partner for Jupiter, pretend that they're going to get married, and then have Juno show up at the right moment to unmask that as a prank, laugh it off, and come back to Jupiter. And in the course of that, the unlikely candidate that they find to be the new Juno is the marsh nymph Platée, who is the most unlikely partner they can find. She has an incredibly inflated sense of herself and is assuming that everyone's madly in love with her at all times. And so she has no trouble believing that the king of the gods would be in love with her. Absolutely, why wouldn't he? And so she is built up throughout the piece to culminate in a wedding ceremony that never quite gets completed because in Juno comes and, just as planned, sees Platée, dies laughing, and goes off back to Olympus with her love.